You ready, Daddy?
I'm ready, Daddy girl. Let's get 'em.
What's up, family? Welcome to the Sho Nuff. I'm your host, Coach Mo. The Sho Nuff is a gathering place where I welcome people from all backgrounds to feel free to exchange ideas and information. From interviews and guests and different segments of the show, the goal is for everyone to learn something new each ride. We focus on a variety of topics from sports, music, entertainment, health and fitness, history, and current events. And I always welcome feedback. So with no further ado, what's up, family? This is Coach Mo from MoeDee's Basketball. Today is my first episode of my new YouTube vlog, the Sho Nuff. On my vlog, I'll be talking about topics that I'm very passionate about. God, family, basketball, other sports, music, working out, history, and current events. I want the Sho Nuff to be a tool used to interact with the people. I love that energy of interacting with the people in an intelligent, respectful way. I love it. And that's what I want this vlog to do. I've been talking about this vlog for months. I mean, for months, y'all. And I kept finding excuses to not do it. You know, I coach 6 club basketball teams. We practice every night of the week. I do training. And so I kept coming with excuses to why I couldn't sit down and actually execute this. And then finally, you know, during this pandemic and this quarantine, I'm watching shows on ESPN and NBA TV, and I'm seeing everybody do these shows from basically the same platform that I'm talking about doing. They're basically using a cell phone, you know, a mobile phone or an iPad, and using Zoom, and they're talking in the same position I'm talking in from their home. And that was like the final straw. I'm like, listen, come on, Mo, we can do this. And I just always thought back to the difference between doers and talkers. Doers take action. Doers have the discipline to get stuff done. And so you can come up with all the creative plans you want. But if you don't take action and execute the plan, then it means nothing. So a plan, anytime you want to do something constructive, it always starts with a good plan. That's step number 1, come up with a solid plan. But almost as important is step number 1. Step number 2, you have to execute the plan. Your plan means nothing if you don't take any action behind it and execute it. So finally, I'm out of excuses. I got all the time in the world. We're doing the Sho Nuff. So let's jump back into it. I'm Coach Mo. I'm the director of MoeDee's Basketball. MoeDee's Basketball is a nonprofit organization that specializes and promotes the total development of youth through sports and life skill training. What I try to do is use the game of basketball to teach life. The principles of basketball and other team sports can be used as building blocks to becoming productive citizens in society. Principles such as teamwork, integrity, accountability, communication, sacrifice, commitment, respect, honor, the list goes on and on, are all strong character traits that will help you flourish in any team environment in life. Let's face it, no matter what you do in life, you're always going to be part of some type of team. Whether it's family, job, the military, and sports, it's always going to be in a team dynamic. And in my opinion, the earlier that children witness and see and be a part of a team and see how a great team can function, to me, it makes them better adults. It'll help them be better adults. Because the principles that I'm talking about can be transferred and used in any team environment. And so I just think it's vital for children to see that, experience that, and be a part of it. The seed of me becoming a basketball coach and a mentor was planted many, many, many years ago. I was born and raised in inner city Southwest Detroit. I lived about 3 blocks from the old Tiger Stadium in a very culturally diverse neighborhood during the 70s and 80s. My neighborhood was probably like 50% Caucasian, probably 30% African American, 15% Hispanic. You know, it was, like I said, really diverse. And my next door neighbor was Maltese immigrants from the island of Malta. And I used to go over there all the time, and they were different. They were different. But, you know, they loved me, and I ran in and out their house, and they treated me like family. You know, and I know I invaded way more than they probably would have liked, but they never made me feel that way. They made me feel welcome and loved. Growing up by Tiger Stadium, man, we all loved baseball. And we played it religiously. I was 8 years old when I first started going to rec centers and playing organized baseball. Through that experience over the years, I was blessed to be coached and mentored by 4 really great coaches and mentors. Dave Souders, Tom Ashley, Eddie Haker, and Howard King. As recently as October of last year, I was still connected to 3 out of the 4, Dave and Eddie and Howard. Unfortunately, in October, Howard passed away from pancreatic cancer. And that was tough. That was tough. And I feel good that me and Howard had communicated to each other over the years. And he knew how much I loved him. And I knew how much he loved me. So we didn't have any, like, unspoken words to each other. You know, I visited him in Detroit about 3 weeks before he passed away. And it was a different type of conversation that, you know, I wasn't ready to have. But even then, he was trying to cheer me up. You know, I came there because I wanted to spend time with him because I knew that the end was coming up. And I wanted to spend time with him. I wanted to see him. And he, even in his condition, his weakest state, like, he kept making me laugh, and we just shared stories from back in the day. And I felt good when I left there knowing that, you know, we both loved each other and we both communicated that we loved each other. So there was no woulda, coulda, shoulda after he passed away. And me wanting to do the Sho Nuff and me wanting to coach is because of those coaches that I had. You know, Dave, Eddie, and Tom Ashley were all Caucasian. And I can tell you, they never once made me feel that race was ever a factor in how they coached us. And in particular, how they treated me. You know, they were all hard-nosed disciplinarians that took, you know, preparation serious. But I think because they worked in youth centers, I got to see them more than just a coach. You know, so like my youth center was taking us to Tiger games, to Belle Isle, to field trips. So I got to spend a lot of time. Like, we played pool, we played ping pong, chess, checkers. So it was like I was around these guys a lot more than just on the field of play. And that's how I got to know them really well. You know, Dave Souders had a house across the street from my house. And he had a brother that was like a year older than me that played on the baseball team. And then he had a nephew that was like a year older than me that played on the baseball team. And they would sometimes spend out of his house. And I'd go over there and I'd spend the night. This is crazy. I spent the night at Dave's house with his wife and his daughter. And I live right across the street. You know what I'm saying? I was spending the night at Dave's house. Then it got to the point where Dave's nephew, Dwayne, and his brother Paul wouldn't even be there. And I still spend the night. You know, I'd get up the couch, open the refrigerator, get food out. Like, Dave and Kathy never not made me feel like I was part of the family. You know what I'm saying? And looking back on it then, I was so young, I was and so naive that I'm not even thinking about the lines that I'm crossing. You know, I'm spending that over this family's house, and I live directly across the street. They feed me they food. I live right across the street, you know, but I just love Dave so much. I love being around them that, you know, they welcome me with open arms. And they never once made me feel like I was intrusive or anything like that. And that was just the beauty of being around them. While I was playing for them, I had no clue that they were mentoring me and going to have a huge impact on my life. I didn't pick up on that until way, way later when I got into coaching in my late 20s. During the times I played for them, I just knew it was incredibly fun and the most important thing in my life. You know, I just loved it, you know, and each of them, like I said, were hard. They were tough disciplinarians. They demanded a lot. They held us accountable. And that wasn't always easy to deal with. Like, it wasn't no, you know, I don't want to sit there and talk like playing for these guys was just like, we just held hands and saying kumbaya. They were demanding, they were hard, and like I said, they held us accountable. And a lot of times when you held accountable, when you're young and you getting held accountable and somebody's checking you, you taking it personal and thinking that they, you taking it personal and thinking that they against you. When in reality, the highest form of love is holding you accountable and disciplining you. If somebody loves you, they're going to hold you accountable and they're going to discipline when you're wrong. They're going to love you again. And part of love is holding you accountable and making sure that you grow and be a better person. When people just let you do whatever you want, whenever you want, that's not love. That's enabling. And so none of these guys were enablers, man. They really was honest, And the thing that, it was, looking back on it and talking to them later in life when I was an adult, they all told me that gaining trust was the most important aspect of coaching. This is funny. Each one of them told me this in separate conversations. Like, I didn't talk to them all at once. Each time I talked to them, they always said, gaining trust. They said, you have to connect before you can correct. And with each of them, they were all large in life personalities that I just love being around, love talking to them away from sports. At the time, between ages 10 and 16, I had no clue what impact they were going to have on me, and how it influenced me later in life. When I got into coaching, it was 1997. I was coaching my son's Reese basketball team. While talking and coaching to them, I realized that I was saying a lot of the old sayings that my coach used to say to me. And I'm like, whoa, that sounds like Howard, or, oh, they used to say that, you know what I mean? And I got into coaching because I love my son. I wanted to spend time around him, and I wanted to build that bond. And so if I coached him and I took him to the rec center every day, I knew what he was doing, and I knew, he was in a positive situation. So I love coaching him and his buddies, and I didn't know nothing about coaching. To be clear, I don't know nothing about coaching, but I knew I wanted us to have fun more than anything else. That's the thing that my coaches and mentors really stressed a lot, is that, and it kept it with me. The number one goal of youth sports, and I'm saying youth sports, I'm saying probably everything from 8th grade on down. The number one goal is to have fun. And if I'm coaching a team and kids not having fun, I need to look in the mirror and I need to do some reevaluation because I'm not doing something right. You know what I mean? High school age, I get it. When you're in high school, it's wins and losses and things matter. Prior to high school, man, it's like the kids need to have fun. Most kids quit sports because it wasn't fun anymore. And I just think sports teaches so many valuable things that I want kids to be involved with it. I want to be able to impact kids. And I just think having fun has to be paramount above everything else with youth sports. Back in Detroit, I coached rec league, high school, and club basketball for about 10 years. The highlight of my coaching was coaching my son. Training him and coaching him, it really, really forged our bond. We both equally love basketball. We love playing it. We love watching it. I can't describe the feeling of going into battle with my son. You know what I'm saying? And the passion we both had for winning and wanting to be successful. It was amazing. It really was, because the great thing about it was, of course, I believe I influenced him, but more importantly, the proud moment for me was seeing that my son had developed his own passion for basketball and his own goals. Like, it's one thing for a child to follow in a parent's footsteps because they're doing it to make the parent happy. The joy is when they do it because they want it. And that was the thing that I was proud about. Reese wanted his own success. You know what I mean? And he was willing to put the work in to be successful. And we had a lot of success together. And that was beautiful. He graduated high school in 2004. And I continued to coach, and I continued to love it. At that point, I was coaching JV high school basketball, and the politics of high school basketball really started to sour me. I was at a private school. The athletic director had one agenda. The headmaster had a different agenda. Different parents with different influences with the school, had their agendas, and it started to be exhausting and started sapping my love for coaching. On top of that, our club basketball team, the Eastside Renegades, had become so successful that the Adidas-sponsored club basketball travel team, the Michigan Mustangs, asked me to merge. And at the time, I incorrectly thought that was going to be a good idea. We did the Eastside Renegades. It was a mom and pop type of thing. We all put our money together, and basically, I wanted my son to be able to play club basketball and not deal with the politics of club basketball. You know what I mean? And I was blessed that it was in the east side of Detroit. There weren't the east side area of Detroit. It was actually in Grosse Pointe. We practiced at University of Lincoln High School, where my son went to school at. And I had kids from Harper Woods, from Grosse Pointe North, in the east side area. And we got really good. We had some really good players. A lot that went on to play college basketball at various levels. And that was fun. And hooking up with the Mustangs, I thought was gonna make it better, because now I wasn't gonna be coming out of my pocket so much. I have to fundraise so much. I just thought Adidas, free gear, free shoes, not paying for tournaments. And I just didn't, what I didn't think about, in hindsight being 2020, I didn't know at the time that Adidas's vision for what they wanted from me and what I wanted to do in my vision were totally separate. You know what I mean? So again, you live and learn. So it was just more politics, and stuff I didn't want to deal with. So by 2006, I'm totally burnt out from coaching. Not necessarily the children, but just the politics of club basketball and the politics of high school basketball with the parents and administration. That really soured me. I was going to take a break. Then my job ended up transferring me to Chandler, Arizona in March of 2007. And that was a blessing in disguise. I moved out here with absolutely no intention on ever coaching basketball again. Then I got married. I had a little baby girl, Paige, and this was 2015. We signed her for soccer. 2014, I'm sorry. We signed her for soccer. She was 3 years old. We signed her for soccer. Now, back in Detroit, I had previously worked for the City of Detroit Recreation Department. And we ran all type of sports leagues. I worked at Patton Recreation Center in Southwest Detroit. Love you, Karen Patola. We had a great rec center. It was a pillar of the community. And I love teaching. I love coaching sports. Now, all the rec leagues that we ran out of there, we had all type of leagues. But the actual employees of the rec center were the coaches. So I got to coach everything. Basketball, floor hockey, volleyball, cross country, flag football, baseball, softball, and even double dutch. Yes, I was coaching double dutch. Didn't know nothing about it. Nor can I do double dutch, but I was an assistant coach on the double dutch team. that was crazy. So when we show up for Paige's coaches meeting and sat down at the designated table for Paige's team, I'm expecting to meet her coach, the children on the team, and their parents. The lady from the National Youth Sports League, who actually ran the league, she gets on the microphone and says, "Okay, parents, you're sitting at the table with your team. Please decide who will be the volunteer coach." I looked at Karen and I'm like, "You didn't tell me this was no volunteer parent coach league." If we would have been alone, I would have said some more things to her, but I didn't. I was just joking. I'm just joking. No, I wouldn't have. But at the end of the day, I wasn't prepared to be the coach. I told the parents, I said, "Listen, I got a lot of experience coaching youth sports, but I've never coached soccer and I never coached 3-year-olds. I said, I'd be happy to be an assistant coach and help out, but I won't be the head coach." Another dad said he had played soccer in high school and took the lead to be the head coach. And me and a third parent, Troy Browder, agreed to be the assistant coaches. So there we got coaching infrastructure. We had one guy to be the head coach, 2 other people going to be the assistant coach. We ready to go. The parent meeting was about a month before the season started. long story short, the guy that originally agreed to be the head coach bailed out like 4 days before the season started on the day of our very first practice. First practice. Now, the coaches meeting, the parent meeting was about a month before the season started. He ain't giving us no, he's not calling, texting, telling us anything. I'm texting him like, hey man, like these children have never played soccer before. We probably need to get out here and practice or something. And he's like, I got you. Not scheduled nothing. Finally, about a week before the season starts, I think it was like that Saturday, he says, hey, let's meet up Thursday and have practice. Now we're having our first practice 2 days before the first game starts. These are 3-year-olds. None of them have ever played soccer. And I'm like, okay, all right. He the head coach. So I'm following the head coach's, I'm following what he says. And then, so that was Thursday. Our first game was Saturday. That Thursday prior, we have our first practice. We're at the practice field. He doesn't show up. Calls me right there on the field. It's not going to work out. I can't be the coach. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I said some more colorful adjectives and some other words in there. I won't say now, but I was really upset. To bail on the kids, to give you a word and then bail at the last minute, I thought was terrible. So, I told Troy, I said, listen, Troy, like we're going to be the coaches, man. We'll be co-coaches, and we'll make the best of it. And neither one of us, again, had never coached soccer, nor had we ever coached 3-year-olds. The youngest I had ever coached was like 11. So this is my first time coaching little kids. So immediately, I jump on YouTube, search for youth soccer videos. And then I contacted some middle school coaches in my area to try to learn something about soccer, how to structure practices and stuff like that. I'm resourceful. When it comes to coaching, and once I commit, I try my best to do things the right way and be 100% invested. I wanted to make it fun, but I still want to have some structure and teach these children how to play. Season starts out great. When our first 2 games, probably a combined score like 20-5, and we rolling. And my 2 best players probably score like 15 out of our first 20 goals. And I'm like, man, and this is where problem number 1 starts. Unknowing to me and Troy, our 2 best players are 4 and 5 years old. Remember, we're playing in a 3-year-old soccer league. There's a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old. If you're older than 3, you can't play in this league. So from a size and strength standpoint, they look like regular 3-year-olds. So we didn't think nothing. Now their skill level was like, they were nice. They were like prodigies. And so in practice, I just remember just being absolutely amazed. And I remember talking to Troy about it. And I'm like, man, these guys are way ahead of everybody else. Me and Troy never would have guessed in a million years that they were too old. Because we just thought, A, what parent would purposely cheat in a 3-year-old rec soccer league? And B, they both were Hispanic. Hispanics here in the Phoenix area love soccer. We just thought they were prodigies. You know what I'm saying? We just thought they loved the game. Their family probably taught them at a younger age, and they were prodigies. We're not thinking we're cheating. After the second game of the season, we had 2 weeks off. We had a winter break. So we were going to have games for 2 weeks. And one of the child's mom confessed to me that Bo and Ethan, the 2 children that were 4 and 5, were both too old. And I was stunned. I gave that mom the riot act. I was talking to her about integrity and ethics and teaching children right from wrong and how, as adults, we're supposed to be the examples to teach them morals. I was really pissed. I didn't cuss at her, and I wanted to. I didn't cuss at her, but I really ripped into her just about, ethics and morals, man, and teaching children the right thing. Anyway, I called the league up. I told the league that they were too old, and immediately they were moved to a different team at the right age. We finished that season 0-8. And we scored more goals in our net for the other team than the other team scored in our net. And, but I have to be honest, The season was probably the most fun I ever had coaching, was coaching those 3-year-old children. And it was just so beautiful, man. It was they were so small, they were so innocent, they were so adorable. You know, it changed my perspective of coaching. That was the first time I ever coached, and it wasn't about wins and losses. You know what I'm saying? It was about having fun, shaping and molding. Like I said, they were so innocent. You know, it really put the emphasis on having fun and understanding how to shape and mold children. You know what I mean? They just their eyes looking up at me, and they were so attentive, and they so wanted to learn that we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. There was a lot of times that it wasn't about soccer either. We played duck, duck, goose at the end of every practice. And it got to the point that the children would come to practice just so they could play duck, duck, goose at the end of practice. So we have our practice, end of practice, we go through our thing, duck, duck, goose time. We sit down and play duck, duck, goose. Kids loved it. Kids loved it. Kids would miss games, but wouldn't miss practice to play duck, duck, goose. That's the type of team we had. My baby girl was out there, and it was fun. I really thought that, you know, me and her were going to bond through soccer and everything like that, but it didn't work out like that. She only played for like a year, and her passion is swimming and horseback riding. I can't swim. I'm from the city, man. I don't know nothing about no horseback riding, so I doubt if I ever coach her. At the end of the day, it wasn't about wins and losses. You know, all the children improved, and most importantly, all had fun, and all the parents loved it as well. Because of that experience, you know, me and Troy ended up coaching together for 3 more years. Unfortunately, my daddy girl Paige stopped playing after a year. You know, she loves swimming and she loves horseback riding. I can't swim. I'm from Detroit. I damn sure can't ride no horse, so I can't coach her. You know what I'm saying? I can't coach her. So I told all the parents, well, back up. All the parents asked me would I still coach even though Paige wasn't playing soccer anymore. And I told the parents, I said, listen, as long as Paige doesn't play something I can coach her in, then I'll continue to coach. But like I said, she just horseback riding and swimming, so I kept coaching. And I hope I get to coach her again. She's only 9 years old. Who knows what God's plan is? But I hope that does, you know, I hope that does happen. But if it doesn't, I'm going to love my baby regardless. Troy and I kept the nucleus of the team together, and eventually became to be a really good team. We ended up going consecutive undefeated seasons in NYS, and we was like killing people. Like, I mean, we win all our games, and we score like 40-something goals. The other team might score 10 in like 8 games. And we was like, man, maybe we should leave NYS because we're not getting any competition. We're winning by a lot. And you don't get better winning by a lot or losing by a lot. So I said, I'm going to try to find us a better league or better competition. We said, cool. So I checked into I-9 Sports and did a little research, talked to some people, and they were definitely an upgrade in terms of the organization and the structure and the competition of the league. What I really liked about I-9 was that they kept standings, and they had a website, they kept standings, you kept track of who scored the goals, who got the assists, and they also had a playoff at the end of the season, which I thought was really cool. This is the first time we're actually playing with something on the line. So the first season, we joined I-9, go undefeated, we win the championship. Man, I'm on top of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, we always had the last game, we always had some type of picnic or some type of party to kind of celebrate the season. And with those trophies, man, and seeing those children's faces, it was unbelievable, man. Like, just the effort that we put into practicing twice a week, and we just always saw the constant improvement. You know, we just always kept getting better as the season went along. And I don't think it was something that, you know, me and Troy, again, weren't soccer coaches, but I just think that we understood repetition and discipline, and having the children work with some structure, they would get better. And that's what I think what the biggest difference was. You know, plus I had some talent. I don't want to make it seem like I didn't have no talent. I had some very, very, very talented kids. And so it was fun. It was really fun. At this time, I want to take a quick break on the Sho Nuff, and I want to show you a quick video, a montage of pictures and videos of my 4 years of coaching soccer. And just want to show y'all like just a little quick glimpse of how much fun I had and how beautiful it was. Do me a favor, y'all. Please subscribe to the station. Please comment. I love to interact with the people. So, take some time, watch this video, and then let's interact afterwards. Comment, subscribe, and we'll talk about it. Enjoy this video.
Yeah, somebody needs to say you're goose, then you get chase.
We've only just begun. We start out walking and learn to run. Sharing horizons that are new to us. Watching the signs along the way. Talking it over, just the two of us. We smile so much. We'll find a place where there's room to grow. Good job. Oh, right. Woo! Sharing horizons that are new to us. Watching the signs along the way. Talking it over, just the two of us. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kate. Happy birthday to you. 'Cause we smile.
Go, Kate, go, Kate, go, Kate. All right, Kate.
Man, I hope y'all enjoyed it. Little trip down memory lane. I just put it together. It was just all the memories are coming back to me, and it was messed up because now I'm old school. I'm 52. I love music, and I'm guessing quite a few of y'all are probably like, why do you have that old song on there? And I have a very eclectic musical taste. I love the Carpenters. I love that song, and I just said, they were so little. I just thought what I was feeling, looking at the pictures, I just thought that song really captured my feelings about coaching them and experiencing all that. I wish it was longer, because quite frankly, it was a headache trying to squeeze 4 years, which would have been, I think, 80 games, 80 games with pictures and videos in 3 minutes. I'm trying to squeeze that down into 3 minutes. And so I did the best I could, but I liked it a lot, and I hope you guys did. And just remember, guys, I want you guys to subscribe. I want you guys to comment. I want you guys to interact. The Sho Nuff is only as good as y'all make it. I want us to look at this as we doing this together. we interacted together, we learned together, we growing together. Coaching soccer made me fall back in love with coaching and just loving being around children and impacting their lives and mentoring. One Saturday, we had a soccer rain out, and the NYS League asked me to referee basketball. And I said, okay. I hadn't refereed in a long time, but it was youth basketball. I think it was like 10 or 11-year-olds. So it wasn't like the fast-paced, emotionally charged high school basketball game where I wouldn't referee a varsity basketball game, and I hadn't refereed in like 8 years. Like, I wouldn't do that. Just too much on the line, crazy parents. But youth basketball, I'm like, fine, I can do that. Even though I hadn't refereed in a long time, I know I can handle it. Getting back on that basketball court, even as a referee, really ignited my love for basketball. And it made me want to get back into coaching basketball. And the way I referee, I teach while I referee. So if a kid traveled or a kid, committed an offensive foul and they looking at me all puzzled, I would explain to them what they did wrong and what in the alternative, if they did this, I wouldn't have called it. So I was teaching, and I was invested. And I think the most important thing I tried to show the parents and the children was that as a referee, that I cared about y'all having fun. I cared about the quality of how I refereed. Because I can tell you as a coach and a parent, there is nothing I dislike more than seeing a referee who don't want to be there. You can tell a referee who don't care. Like, people are paying their money. They're emotionally invested in this. They're emotionally engaged in this. And if you're not going to invest the same type of emotion as a referee and the same type of care, then don't do it. Like, you're not getting drafted, man. Nobody's putting a gun to your head and force you to referee. Sorry for my rant, y'all. I'm sorry about that. After the spring season of soccer ended, we don't play in the summer. So that gave me some time to start contemplating and thinking things out. And I told my parents, I said, listen, y'all, I love the children. I love the situation. But refereeing basketball really got my juices flowing to be back into basketball. And I told my soccer parents, I said, listen, if you want your children to continue to play, I'll work with you to find good situations going forward to play in. I'll do some research and I'll find good places for you to play. And in the fall of 2018, I made my move back to coaching basketball, and first it was training. I was doing training. And I started training one client and I had no teams. In a year and a half, I built my organization up to 6 club teams from ages 5 through 17 and 33 training clients. Now, everything's on hiatus now because of COVID-19, but that's where I was at before all this went down. 6 teams, all different ages, and a ton of training clients. And God really blessed me with the opportunity to be able to monetize my passion. This doesn't feel like work. Like being in the gym or being on an outdoor court, going over basketball, like it's not work to me. You know what I mean? And I love it. And I love that interaction with children and teaching them. You know what I mean? So this is just, it's not work to me. It's like I'm getting paid to do something that I love and it never feels like work. And I truly, truly, truly enjoy it. At the end of the day, I want MoeDee's basketball to be a testament to the great coaches and mentors that I had in my life and all the love and kindness that I received, and my responsibility is to pay it forward and hopefully inspire other children to want to do the same thing, man. So, when Howard passed away, and I talked to Eddie, and me and Eddie continue to talk, and I reached out to Dave Souders, and they all know I love them, and more importantly, they know that because of them is the biggest reason why I'm coaching and the biggest reason why I'm mentoring. So I just want them to know that. I want them to know that. Now the difference is, let me interject here. Difference is I'm getting paid where when they were working back in the day, they were working at a rec center. And I know they weren't getting compensated for all the time and energy and commitment they put into us, And so that's the difference between back in the 80s and today, that now I can actually earn a living doing what I love, impacting children, mentoring, coaching, and guiding, So I can't tell you how blessed I am. All right, y'all. This wraps up my first episode of the Sho Nuff. I apologize for all the rambling. I wanted this one, my first episode, to kind of be an introduction. I promise going forward, there will be a new episode of the Sho Nuff every Tuesday. Also, I will be dropping, shorter episodes of the Sho Nuff, maybe 5 minutes, 7 minutes, as needed. Tonight, episode 2 will be my reaction to the 10-part Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance. It comes on tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 hours. Right after that, I'm dropping the Sho Nuff. I'm going to give you my reaction to the first 2 episodes of The Last Dance. Look forward to that. What I'm going to need you guys to do, though, I'm going to need you guys to subscribe. I'm going to need you guys to comment. And if you want to, you can leave comments right now of questions that you want to have answered about Michael Jordan and The Last Dance. We'll get into it heavy. We'll get into it real heavy. Like I said, this is my first episode. I know I rambled a lot, but I really wanted to get off my chest what inspired me to want to coach and why I love what I do. And so that was the first one. I promise going forward, ensuing episodes won't be this long. It's going to change. It's going to morph. I want to have guests on here that I'm talking to, and we're sharing ideas and talking about different stuff. So it's going to be fun, y'all. I'm going to talk about music. I'm going to talk about all types of different things. Again, please give me your feedback of what you think that I can do to make it better. Because at the end of the day, I want this to be the best it could be. I want it to grow. I want you guys to love it. I want you guys to look forward to it. Everybody, please be safe out there during this pandemic, man. Stay inside as much as possible. Practice safe social distancing when you're out. Wash your hands thoroughly and frequently. Also on my YouTube page, I have a playlist of great informational videos about COVID-19. Please check those out. Last thing, y'all. Very last thing, y'all. I want to make this very clear to y'all. You ain't got to worry about me giving you nothing but the Sho Nuff, because that's all I know. Thank you for your support, and God bless.